In a peaceful village nestled in a green valley, families lived harmoniously, growing crops and sharing their harvests. Among them was a humble farmer named Arjun. Arjun had a hidden talent. He could read people's and animals' behaviors. This skill, though not widely known, made him the village's secret guardian. Reading people's minds is not about supernatural powers. It's about understanding body language, expressions, and actions. In daily life, this skill can help build strong relationships, solve conflicts, and create harmony. Arjun knew this well and used his talent to help his fellow villagers without them knowing. Arjun could sense when someone was sad by the way they walked, or when an animal was unwell by the way it moved. He always offered help at the right moment, making him beloved by everyone. His secret ability allowed him to understand and empathize with others deeply. However, the village was ruled by an arrogant king named Raja. Raja was known for his disrespectful behavior and lack of ruling capabilities. He often ignored his people's needs, leading to widespread dissatisfaction. 1 year later, the village faced a severe drought. The crops failed, and people were starving. The villagers pleaded with their king Raja for help, but he dismissed their concerns, failing to see the desperation in their eyes and the weariness in their bodies. Seeing the suffering of his fellow villagers, Arjun decided to act. He approached the king and asked for a meeting. Intrigued by the farmer's courage, Raja agreed, but decided to test Arjun's abilities. The king said, "If you can prove your wisdom, I might consider your advice," Raja declared. "I will challenge you, and if you succeed, I will listen." The king took Arjun to a field and showed him 3 identical baskets filled with fruit. "Tell me, Arjun, which basket holds the freshest fruit?" Arjun observed the baskets and noticed the subtle signs, the slight droop of the fruit stems and the color variation. He pointed to the freshest basket without hesitation. Impressed but not convinced, Raja set a second challenge. Next, the king brought out 2 horses, one healthy and one sick, though they looked similar. "Which horse is unwell?" he asked. Arjun watched the horses' movements, noting the sluggishness of one and the alertness of the other. He identified the sick horse correctly. For the final challenge, the king asked Arjun to identify the most troubled villager in a crowd. Arjun scanned the faces, looking for signs of worry and stress. He approached an elderly woman, gently asking about her troubles. She tearfully confirmed Arjun's observation, sharing her worries about the drought. Having passed all the challenges, the king was finally convinced of Arjun's abilities. Humbled, he asked, "How do you see what others cannot?" Arjun replied, "Your Majesty, by observing and understanding. Every action, every expression tells a story." Arjun began teaching the king how to read these subtle cues. He pointed out the small signs of distress in his people, the hunched shoulders, the slow steps, the silence replacing their usual chatter. Arjun gathered the villagers in the village square and asked for volunteers. He then asked each volunteer to express a feeling without using words. One woman stood with her arms crossed, her brow furrowed. Arjun explained to the king that her crossed arms indicated defensiveness, and her furrowed brow showed worry. The king observed with newfound interest. Next, Arjun took the king to the marketplace and showed him a vendor who was struggling to sell his goods. "Watch closely," Arjun said. "Notice the way people pass by without stopping." The king saw the vendor's slumped shoulders and downcast expression. Arjun explained that these were signs of low confidence and suggested ways to help the vendor attract customers. For the final lesson, Arjun invited the king to join him in visiting a family that had recently lost their home in a fire. The king watched as Arjun comforted the family with simple gestures and kind words. Arjun then explained to the king the importance of empathy and understanding in times of crisis. Under the king's new leadership, guided by Arjun, the village began to thrive again. The king's newfound empathy and understanding brought prosperity and happiness back to the people. The king became known as the most kind and capable ruler the village had ever seen. Arjun's story teaches us the power of understanding others. By paying attention to body language and behavior, we can connect deeply with those around us, fostering compassion and empathy. This lesson reminds us that true leadership and harmony come from seeing and feeling the needs of others. In our own lives, let us strive to understand and support each other, creating a world filled with kindness and respect.